We're up to Ois Yudalad. The Rebbe is discussing over here the Maila. He talked about Limud HaTorah. Mipe'olim v'yonkim yisadito ois, the strength of Torah, the Yesod. He was talking about the fact that it's higher than uh, Seichel. It's the level of Goyrel of Torah. The uh, Yisoid, even Mipa'elim v'yonkim, that's the foundation, and that's the uh, extra level. That's the ois the Torah. That's the ois. So that comes out in a way that we don't consider any of the obstacles they were learning Torah in those difficult times of the Frierdiker Rebbe, as the Rebbe explained over there earlier. And the Rebbe also explained that that's the idea really of Goyrol. We're talking about the Parshas Pinchas. Goyrol means not logical, which means a devotion, things which are higher than Seichel. So now the Rebbe is going to say the same thing is in mitzvahs. We have mitzvahs that are like the Goyrol, that are higher, that even in a situation, they're higher than the Rotzen. Generally, mitzvahs are the Ratzon Hashem, and we're mamshich from the level of Ratzon, but there is some mitzvahs that even higher than Ratzon. And then we have the same thing in the neshama. We also have the level of goyrol, which is the essence of the neshama, which is higher than the expression in intellect and emotions. That's the essence of the neshama, as the Rebbe will explain. Yudal, Hine, Bechina Zu, the level of Goyrol that we were discussing, this level of Goyrol, and we said before in Eretz Yisrael is also, on one hand, it's higher than time, and it's higher than uh, the order of the world, but it brings it down in the world. So this level, Yeshno gam b'mitzvahs, also we have this level of goyrel also in mitzvahs. What is the level of goyrel in mitzvahs? V'heim ha-mitzvahs she'einom teluyim b'ritzoynoi shel odom. Those are the mitzvahs that are not dependent on, or they don't hinge on the will of the person. Most of the time, a mitzvah you do that you have the wish to do the mitzvah, either the positive to do, you have a rotzen to do the mitzvah, or you have the rotzen to refrain and not doing the loisasa. But there is also some mitzvahs which are not, they come your way and you observe the mitzvah in a goyrel kind of way. In other words, the Eibishter gives you that mitzvah. It's not done with your rotzin. That means the level of goyrel, which is even higher than rotzin. So what is the idea? The hine hamitzvahs in yonom hamshochas rotzin ha'elyon. Mitzvahs in general, they bring down and draw down the rotzin of the Supreme Hashem's will. The level of Hashem's rotzin, when we do a mitzvah, we're bringing down Hashem's rotzin. Hashem wants us to do the mitzvah. He commands us to do the mitzvah. So we bring down His rotzin into the world. Ukilashoin birchas hamitzvahs, like the bracha we make when we do a mitzvah, we say, Asher kidishanu b'mitzvahsov v'tzivonu. He sanctified us the mitzvahs, and He instructed us, commanded us. So the mitzvahs are a command of Hashem, and when we do the mitzvah, we are bringing down Hashem's command into action. שהמצווה הם ציווי הקודש ברוך הוא להודו. Mitzvahs are the command of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the human, to the person. Shekein hu rotzin ha'elyon. This is the will of the Supreme. Hashem wants us. This is what Hashem wants. The mitzvah. Vayidei kiyum ha-mitzvah. When we fulfill, we listen and we do what Hashem wants, the rotzin of Hashem. Harezeh mekadesh es ha'adam. Then that sanctifies the person. It becomes Asher kiddishanu b'mitzvaysav. He sanctifies us through the mitzvahs. Vitzivon. B'zeh gufa yeshnam beis eifanim. There is two ways how to do the mitzvahs. Mitzvahs aseh and mitzvahs loisaseh. These are the rotzin of Hashem, but they come down in two ways: in mitzvahs aseh, in positive, or mitzvahs loisaseh. So the b'mitzvahs aseh ha-hamshocha hi begilui. The positive mitzvah, when we bring it down, the Eibishter's rotzen, it's openly. We can sort of bring it down into a level of revelation. As opposed to when we fulfill the mitzvahs, we don't have a hamshocha that we can see. It's a higher level of hamshocha that is not begilui to us. Shalochein, for that reason, birchas ha-mitzvah is hirak al-mitzvah saseh. The blessing of mitzvahs is only a mitzvahs aseh. Ki bracha inyono hamshocha v'gilui. When a person observes a mitzvahs leisaseh, he doesn't do what he's not supposed to, he's not going to make a bracha on it. There's no bracha for a leisaseh. Why is there no bracha for a leisaseh when you refrain from doing something not allowed? You make a bracha. And the answer is because it's not begilui de hamshocha. Bracha means to draw down. The hamshocha from a mitzvah leisaseh is not begilui. Ki bracha inyono hamshocha v'gilui. Bracha is to draw down and revelation. But by mitzvahs leisaseh, we don't have the revelation. That does not mean that we don't have a hamshocha. Aval gam b'mitzvahs leisaseh yeshno hamshochas harotzen. By mitzvahs leisaseh, there also exists bringing down the rotzen of Hashem. Elo she'enei ba'ofen shel bracha v'hamshocha b'gilui. It's not in a way of a blessing and openly coming down. So there is hamshocha. So the Rebbe explains here that a bracha means when something comes down in a revealed way. And when it comes down in a hidden way, then it's not shachas to make a bracha on it, but it's still there. But we can make a bracha. And the Rebbe brings an example, like it's explained why we don't make a bracha on the tefillin shel rosh, and the Ashkenazim do, because the reason we don't make a bracha, because in the case, it's taka mitzvah aseh to put on both tefillin, but in the case of the tefillin shel rosh, there's such a strong hamshocha that is beyond coming down of revelation, and that's why we don't make a bracha. As it explains, Valderech Hamevur b'Torah li'inyan habrocha al tefillin shel rosh. Explained in Torah with regards to the bracha on the tefillin shel rosh. The nechleku hasfardim v'hashkenazim im yivorchu aleim bracha miyuchedes. There is a machlokes between the Sfardim and the Ashkenazim. Should you make a separate bracha on the tefillin shel rosh? Uminak Sfarad sheloi levarech. The minig of Sfarad is not to make the bracha. Why? Why don't we make a bracha? This svirelei she'i efsher lahamshich hamakif ahu al yidei bracha. That it is impossible to draw down that level of makif of the shel rosh through a bracha. Ki'im nimshach me'elov, but rather it comes down on its own. You can't make a bracha, you can't bring it down, basically begilui. The bracha cannot come down, it can't draw it down. It comes down on its own. There's no bracha. So you see, what's the idea of a bracha? A bracha is to bring it down in a way that it's visible. And that's why when it comes to the tefillin shel rosh, we can't bring down the makif in a visible way. So therefore, it comes by itself. Therefore, no bracha. Similar is by the mitzvahs loises, you don't make the bracha. The bracha means that you draw it down. Can't draw it down, ki hamshoche hi me'elo ma'atzmo, because it comes down on its own. All by itself, it comes down not through the work of the hamshoche of the person, and therefore he does not make a bracha. Now, then you have a level of mitzvahs. So these are the mitzvahs aseh and loisasa. And then we have a level of mitzvahs that don't hinge on the will of the person. They're even higher. They totally come not with the person's conscious. They are not dependent at all on the will of the person. Similar to the mitzvah of leadership. So we say, how does a person become a leader? So it's based on the kol habereach min hakoved chulu. Anyone who runs away, everyone who runs away from koved, the koved chases after him. So how does the person get the level of nesius? It's not that he wants to do the mitzvah. He doesn't want to be the leader. He doesn't want to be the person on the top, because he actually runs away from it. And the Eibishter, Akaved Berech Achrav, the Rebbe quotes here from the Gemara in Erevin Yud Gimel of the base. They wanted to not become rabbis over there. They were running away, but the Eibishter is Loisrora. He told them the Loisrora Kim Abdus. It's not. It's a servant. You have to be a servant when the Eibishter wants you to become a servant. So this is a mitzvah which comes to you in a way against you. You try to run away and you got it. O mitzvahs shikha, another mitzvah, another example in which a mitzvah comes your way beyond, not you conscientiously want the mitzvah, is the mitzvah of shikha. Shikha is when you forget in the field some of the shearings that you cut from the crops, and you forget it. So you cannot mekayim the mitzvah when you know it. If the whole mitzvah is when you forget it. So that's mitzvahs that are not conscientious, not rotzin, but they come ilmailo. And that's a level sort of goyrel, the mitzvahs of goyrel. So what's the reason that these are not at all dependent on the will of the person? Because they are rooted above, higher than the will of the Supreme. So how does this interpret in the level of Spheres? Normally, mitzvahs are connected to chitzonis hakeser, to arich. This is the level of atik, which is pnimis hakeser. Ubesvirusu shamitzvahs bechlal heim mibchinas arich hampin. Mitzvahs generally come from the level of arich hampin, chitzonis hakeser, which is the ratzon ha'elya in the supreme, the will of the supreme. Does the ratzon mitzvahs she'einam tluyim ba'ratzon ha'adam, and those mitzvahs that are not dependent on the ratzon, the person's wishes, sharsha mebchinas atik, they are rooted in the level of atik. Shenetak v'nivdal mekol seder hishtalshus. It has been removed and separated from all of the order of the hishtalshus. Gam b'bchinas arechapim. It's also removed from arechapim. It's higher than rotzen. It's removed from rotzen. Ukemavuer ba'arucha b'lekutei Torah sheparshas bracha. It's explained ba'arucha at length in the Lekutei Torah in the end of the parsha bracha. V'zuhi b'chinas hagoyrel shebemitzvos. And this is the level of goyrel, which is in mitzvahs. The mitzvahs which are beyond the normal laisas and asay. This is even on a way which is level of atik. Shayodo nimshach oirnai leyoser mehaoir hanimshach ha'idei mitzvos asa mitzvos loisas estam. Through this mitzvahs of goyrel, you bring down a higher light, even more than the oil which comes from the regular mitzvahs and mitzvahs loisas. So now we explained there's a level of goyrel in mitzvahs too, mitzvahs which is beyond the rotzen, which is the level of atik. Now he's going to explain the level of goyrel in the neshama of every Jew. We have that level that we call the goyrel of the neshama. That's the level of the yichida. We're going to explain. There's also the level of goyrel by each and every one of the Jewish people. The kamosh and izbarli binyan hanisyonis. Just as earlier we explained when it comes nosatu liראיך להתנוסס, that the pasuk says the nisyonis, every yid has and is elevated through the avodah, the nosatu liראיך להתנוסס koi al kol echad vechad miYisrael. It goes on each and every one of the yidden. David HaMelech said this as representative of all yidden. So just like we explained by nisyonis in Ekumakain, hu b'bchinas hagoyrel, same thing is true when we talk about the level of goyrel. Sheyeshna b'kol echad vechad miYisrael, that exists by every one of the yidden. Kamoi sha'imrim, and like we say in the davening, this is said in the davening. So we say, Ashreinu matov chalkeinu umanoim goreleinu. Every yid says it. Ashreinu, how good is our part, and sweet goreleinu. We say our lot. We all have a level of gorel. Hainu sheitzel kol echad vechad miYisrael. So that means by each and every yid, yeshnam lo rak chalkeinu, doesn't only have a portion. Kim gam goreleinu, we also have the level of goreleinu. Sha'al yidei zeh, through the level of goreleinu, hu meyuchad im HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he is united with Hashem. Not only does that level connect him to Hashem, it has expression in actuality. The level of goyrel of the nefesh goyreleinu expresses itself in action. So how is this level of goyrel expressed in the Maaseh B'Poyim? So this is similar to what it says in the Geras HaKodesh. Because every yid has a mitzvah, which is his mitzvah, especially. How does he get that mitzvah? That's the level of goyrel. It's sort of a lottery that you have to do. This is your special mitzvah. We find in the Geras HaKodesh, he explains the mitzvah davizoir botvei. We find in the Gemara that he says, Abucha b'mahavizor, which is the mitzvah that he was most careful in. Shekol echad vechad miYisrael yesh le mitzvah miyuchedes. Each one has a special mitzvah. Shetzorich liyazoir botvei. He needs to be careful. That's his lot. The lottery for him, there's a mitzvah that he needs to be very careful in. That's actually the goyrel. The mitzvah that the person needs to do, that's his lottery. And that's what we say, Ato toimech goroli. You, meaning Hashem himself, supports that level of goydel, my lot. You support it. Shebechinas hagoydel he me'ato. The goydel comes from you. Atzmusa yemhusa yizborech. The essence of Musa yizborech. Okay, now the bechinas hagoydel ba'odom hatachten, as we said before, that the level of the lottery by the person, what it means, this is higher than the pnimis koiches. The inner koiches, the person's chokhmah, bina, das, midei, seichel, machshava dibra ma'aseh, shehem bechinas hishtalshlus shebe'odom. These are evolvement. They are the koiches as they come down. In the inner, they evolve one from the other. Ulamailo, so that's the level of pnimim. But we're saying goyrel is higher than pnimis. Ulamailo gam b'bchinas hamakifim sheberech hapnimim. And this is also higher from the makif, which is related to the pnimi, has a connection to the pnimi. Shu'in harotzin, which is level of rotzin, which means the level of goyrel by the person is higher than his seichel and midos, and it's also higher than his rotzin. That is similar to the level of atik, who has been removed even at the level of arichapin. So it's the level of pnimius hakesel, which is removed from chitzonis hakesel. V'zeu ato tomer goroli. You support goroli. What is the goroli? Shubichinas yichida shebenefesh. That's the level of yichida in the soul. That is my goydel. That is the goydel that the yid has in his soul, the part of the yichida. Anitzutz nibra, that's the spark of the created. That's a part of the neshama. Sheboy mislabesh anitzutz beira, in which the spark of the creator dresses up. The spark of the creator dresses up in the spark of the created being. Shalochein nikras b'shem yichida. Why do we call it yichida? That's why it's called yichida. Yichida is because it houses yochid. It holds Hashem. The spark of the boire comes into that spark of the nivra in the yichida. V'zeh shmo asher yikru lo. The name you call it is yichida. Kihi shem v'kliv, because this is a name and a vessel of chinas yochid, to the level of yochid shoanitzuz beira, which is the spark of the creator. Ha'atzmus shel kol echad v'echad mibnei Yisrael, the entity, the essence of each yid. That is the level of yichida, and that is the level of goydel, and that is the level of ato toimech goroli. That this is connected directly with atzmus, because the nitzutz of yochid dresses up in the nitzutz of yichida, in the nitzutz of the nivra. Tezvav. V'zeu mamshich b'hakosuf leman yeicholtzun yididecha hashia yemincha v'anein. Rebbe is going to continue now the continuation of the verse in Tehillim. Nosato liראיך neislis noises mipnei koshet tzela. Given us the nisyones and koshet tzela from Avraham Avinu. So leman yecholzun yididecha. So those who are your yididim, your friends, will be saved. Yeshir yimincha v'aneni. Save your right hand and answer. The Rebbe is going to explain now this second part of the pasuk. The mizeh she'omer lema'an goimer. He says, so that, move on, she'kosuf zeh hu hemshech la'kosuf ha'koidem nosata liראיך neis goimer. That this is a continuation to the previous pasuk. Nosata liראיך neis lema'an, so that. V'hainu. So what does this mean here? what happens because of the avodas hanisyonis, because of the avodas hanisyonis, therefore Yididecha will be Yecholzun and Hoshia Yimincha. So what is the idea? So that we should reach that level. So what is the level? So we're going to explain what is the meaning of Hoshia Yimincha, your right hand. What is Yimincha? So in the Medrash we find ala posik, it says Heishiv Ocher Yiminoi. He turned his right hand backwards. So this is in the posik in Eicha, that the Eibishter turned his right hand actually backward. The Koyal Yemin Shel HaKodesh Baruch Hu. So this Yemin goes on the Eibishter's right hand. So what happens in the time of Golus, the Bisman HaGolus, Nemar Heishiv Ocher Yeminoi, that he turned his right hand backwards. Ubeis HaGeula. And what happens when the Eibishter, at the time of redemption, Oisosh Yemin Shehi Mishubedes Hulu, that right hand which has been enslaved, which the Eibishter did not act during the time of Golus, Ga'alti es Yemini Hulu. I redeemed, the Eibishter redeems his right hand. Its back function is not back, it's not returned. It's open now, it's been freed. Geula. And that way also redeems the right, the Yamin, the right of each and every Yid. The Eibishter has redeemed his right hand, the Geula, and this redeems the right of every Yid. We're saying the Nasatu Liראיך, Hoshia Yimincha, help your right hand, to the idea of Nisyonis that we said before. Ki Bechinas Yimin, that level of the Eibishter's right hand, Nimsheches Al Yidei HaAvodah de Goyro. This is brought down through the Avodah of Goyro, which we said, which is the Avodas HaNisyonis, brings down from the highest level. K'moi shemevi b'medrash shom, as the medrash brings down, al zeh shebe'eis ha'geula tihiyah geulas yemini shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The medrash brings down what we're saying, that by the geula we will be redeeming the right hand of Hashem. That's the geula. So he says in the medrash, "My shenemar b'Daniel v'ato leich b'tamid ligoy relecha l'keitz hayomin." And you go, the Eibishter says this is the nuvu to the Daniel, and you stand ligoy relecha l'keitz hayomin. Keitz hayomin can either mean to the end of days, the lot that you will get at the end of days, or it means the end, that there's going to be the right hand. So you see that here the word goyrel comes together with yamin. Ki yamin shayeches lehagoyrel. That right hand of the geula that we're saying has a connection to the goyrel. The Rebbe explains. Obiyur ha'inyan hu, the explanation is, the Isa b'medrash sham, the medrash says, Sha'omar lei keitz hayomim or keitz hayomin. He told him the end of days or the end of the right. Because yomin could also mean days, but is it keitz hayomin or keitz hayomin? Omar lei keitz hayomin. It's the keitz, the end of the right hand. Mevayer bahadrushim. So the Maimorim explain, what does it mean then, the Yamin? The Yamin koi al Yamin shebe'arich ampit. That Yamin references the right which is in arich ampit. Ulamaila yoser, and even higher. Bechinas yamin shalamayla ma'arich hampin. It's even the yamin which is higher than ma'arich hampin. Shehu inyan rotzin. That's only rotzin. Ki'im, but it's higher. Shehu atik. Atik shehu kulo yamina. The lay smaller by atika. We say with regards to atik that it's only right. There's no right and left over there. It's only right. So that's the level of yamin. The Bechina Zu, this level of yamin, level of atik, level of arich, yesh no gam bizman hagolus. That exists also in the time of exile. Like we say, Yamin Hashem Reimeimo, Yamin Hashem Oisechoil. The right hand is raised up, Hashem does choil. So there is a right hand. Elo Shebizman Hagolus in Bebechinas Helem. During the time of Golus, it's blocked. She'enei Me'ira Begilu B'nefesh Odom. It doesn't shine openly. The person doesn't have openly the level of Yamin. Avol kasher ha'odom oived avidosi mitzad Yamin shebenafshoi. But when a person serves with the level of Yamin, which we said now is the level of Yechida, avoid mitzad etzem nafshoi shelamaylo min harotzu makev hakorev. It's even higher than the rotze, which is the close makiv. He goes to the makiv harochid yechida, showing a goyrel. We're talking about the goyrel. Hinei al yidei zeh v'tamed legoyrelecha lekoitz hayomin. You will stand because of the lot, the avoid of goyrel lekoitz hayomin, shegoyrel shebe'odom mamshich goyrel shelamaylo. The goyrel which is in the person, his yamin, brings down the goyrel of above. The atotemech goyrel kanal shu bechinas atik. As the Rebbe will continue to explain. So the Rebbe basically is explaining over here how the avoida in the nefesh ha'odom is Hashir Yemincha, the continuation of the pasuk, which is the level of Yamin, because the level of Yamin during the Golus is hidden. And through the avodah of Goyrel, which we work with our Yamin, that brings down, and that all connects us to the idea of Nisyonis. But tomorrow, Mr. Shem will finish up the whole idea what the Rebbe started over here. We'll continue tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.